This is Joe from ArtAlienTV. Happy New Year to you all. Hope you've all had a good Christmas and New Year and everything else. I was ill quite badly in late November and December, right through December, but I'm better now. So some of you were a little bit concerned about where I was and why I wasn't posting anything. That's why. I'm much better now. So back to work, back to the ranch, and back to YouTube. And today I've got a really short one to show you. It's just one image here, and this is a satellite image from the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, ESP 04308881915, and I've got the raw version here, or actually this has had the contrast enhanced a little bit, and I've got a colorized version of it here, a clip. Now, basically, what we have in this image is what appears to be a whole bunch of rectangular cave-like structures in this area here, which is basically like a sort of what looks like a fluvial fan. In other words, a lot of this looks like material that was once in a river sort of outlet or estuary, like clay, and it's all kind of solidified, right? That's what it looks like. A fluvial fan is called. And you get these near the rovers. There's some in Gale Crater and in Zero Crater. There's a huge one to the northwest where the rover is now. And this is similar. But what we have on the ground, I'll zoom in. What I'll do is I'll use the magnifier and show you these clips I've got here first. What you have to realise with this stuff is it's millions and millions of years old, and is highly eroded. Now, if we're seeing rectangles, multiple rectangular structures like we have here, right? Here, 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 right? And on here we got a nice one. The sort of angled structures cut in or in these actual mounds, right? Now, this is the best one. Now this one I've got a smaller version and a larger clip as well. This is the larger clip. Look at this. It's rectangular, basically, but it's got another rectangular part sticking up there, right? And here's the smaller one here. You can see the whole area. There seem to be steps and ramps and all sorts of weird things on the ground, right? And here's the black and white clip of it. This is how it looks on the actual image. If you download the image, go up here to download the image. You go click on the Arizona link there, and that will take you to the actual page. Let's go to the page. And as with a lot of the really interesting images we get from the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, there's no explanation for it. There's just a title and a science theme, volcanic processes. Okay, that's it. That's all you get. It doesn't go into any detail whatsoever about what these things were supposed to be or are supposed to be. It just gives you a hint of what it might be, but that's it. But basically this one here, you can actually see into it. It's rectangular and it's got these kind of lines going into it. Now, if this is millions of years old, at one point this may have been very sharp edged. And what we're seeing is it's kind of rounded off a bit here and here due to erosion, right? Wind erosion. And the same would be also true for all of these. Basically, a million years ago, or 500,000 years ago even, these would have been much more rectangular and much sharper edged than they are now. I mean, this is crazy, this one. Absolutely crazy. Right? Look at this. Very angular. Now, if those angles are still pretty tight and quite sharp after millions of years of erosion, then imagine how sharp and angular they would have been a million years ago. Right? I mean, this is insane. And once you start looking at this stuff, you're thinking, hang on a minute. Is this a cave or dwelling kind of complex, like a village cut into the natural geology of solidified clays and rock? They look like they're part of a pyroclastic flow, or possibly a mudslide that's solidified off the side of the cliff or mountain. When you look at the overall image here, you can actually see up here that this is all flowing down in this sort of formation here, and these are at the bottom. Now we're not looking straight down flat from the satellite here. We're looking at an angle, and it tells you the phase angles here. There should be a phase angle, map projection, emission angle, phase angle 40. So we're looking at quite an angle here, almost 45 degrees. So we're looking down but across into these caves. So we can actually see into them. And that's what we've got. And this one here, I've marked it up here, is the one you can see right into. It's quite dark, but you could actually walk into it. It goes right inside. And some of these are really hollowed out. A lot of them seem to be filled in with sand and dirt and dust. But some of them you can see right into. And they're quite complex, some of these. And very sharp edges, like this one here. Very sharp edges. A lot of it seems to have eroded and been scooped. You've got all these kind of scooped shapes here, where the wind's kind of probably spun round and eroded it over millennia. But this one's got like another rectangular thing inside it here. This one. So let's go full screen a minute, and I'll show you it full screen, because it's difficult to get this across. How crazy some of this stuff is. It's like a sort of town that's millions of years old, or maybe 500,000 years old, who knows, that was cut into the natural rock here. And you can see where it's flowed down from the top here. And you've got whole groups of these rectoid or rectilinear cave entrances, by the looks of it, or features in the rock. And when you start looking around, you've got steps and ramps and loads of crazy details and lots of rectangular shapes. Some of them kind of joined together. There's a rectangular one here with a smaller one there and another one there. Some of them go in quite deep, but a lot of these are sort of filled in with sand and dirt, as you would expect, right? So they don't look like they're active, if they are dwellings, that is. Some of them look more natural, but when you start looking at these things, you think, hang on a minute, these are similar to some of the structures I've shown before on Mount Sharp, where I've shown like these like cave houses on Mount Sharp in Gale Crater, where the Crossy Rover is, right? Now I've shown some of those up close, and they're basically cut right into the rock, and they've got entrances at the front, and some of them have got multiple rows of caves that I've showed before, but they were really far off, miles away from the rover. But you can see rows and rows of these rectangular holes in on the cliff edges, up high up on Mount Sharp. So there were people living there. And this is similar, but we're seeing it up more close. And they look kind of random initially, but when you start looking at them properly, you can see all these rectangular shapes. And like I said, these would have been more rectangular and much sharper 500,000 or 1,000,000 years ago, or even longer. So what we're seeing are eroded rectangles, which have kind of rounded off a bit and have been scooped by the wind over millennia, making them look more natural, right? Now, when you get the actual raw image, you can download the raw image. It comes like this. It comes in black and white, or this is actually a red. It's called red, but it's actually black and white, really. Monochrome it is. You can see the whole area here overall, and you can see all these crazy kind of step-like patterns in the ground and shapes. Let's measure some of this stuff. This one here is like about 100 meters wide from there to there. Over 100 meters, that is. That's huge. So these are large. These are really large. All I can say really is come and have a look yourself. take your own clips. You can take screenshots of this, or you can download the image. Like I said, you can download these images from the link at the top here, and you can. There's different size versions of the image as well. Some's in color, some are color filtered, some aren't. The black and white ones are the most accurate and the most detailed, but they're quite large. Um, but there are different versions. You can download smaller versions as well, and it's pretty cool actually. But they're basically, I can't say that these are completely natural when you have these angles and you can see right into some of these. They go right in. This one isn't filled in as much as some of the others. You can see right inside it, right? And in the black and white version, you can actually see these lines here going right in. This goes right inside, and they're huge. Let's measure that one. I've marked some of them here for you. Let's measure that one there and see how wide that actual part is there. That's about 70 meters wide, that bit there. The dark cavern, the rectangular cavern here. But if it's still that rectangular now, imagine what it was like a million years ago. These must be at least partly artificial. They look like they've been cut into the natural geology, much like some of the structures I've shown before, not only in Gale Crater, but also near some of the other rovers. I've shown what look like houses cut into the sides of the craters and stuff like that. I've shown many things like this before, and I'll put a few clips in at the end of this video for you, and some links to some of those other videos, because there's loads of things that I've shown like this before, where they've cut into the edge of the crater or into the edge of a cliff edge, or stuff like that, where they've taken advantage of the natural geology and utilized it and dug into it, cut right into it. Okay, like kind of bunkers almost. Now, on a harsh planet like Mars, that's probably a very good idea because this will give you protection against radiation and weather and all sorts. But this really looks like a town complex, a cave dwelling complex, okay? With loads and loads of rectangles and squares all joined up together. Absolutely insane. And some of them are just amazing. But bear in mind, this is very, very old stuff here. And like I said, these would have been a lot squarer and a lot sharper before they were eroded. Okay. The question is, how long have these been here? And is there still anyone in there? If that's what they are. I mean, look at this stuff here. Insane, right? Look at these square parts and rectangular parts. Now, a lot of this may be crystalline kind of formations from. If this is volcanic rock, you can get crystalline formations when it solidifies, which can block and look kind of rectangular. But I don't know. Some of these just look too good to be just random, and they sit. Some of them have got these weird sort of domes on them sticking up as well. Look at this one, absolutely mental. Um, let's get the magnifier and look at that one. This one's crazy. It's got this kind of structure here, like a house with a point to it there on top. So we're looking into them. We're not looking straight down, we're looking across and in. That's the beauty of the MRO when it has a decent phase angle like this. You can see a lot more because we're not looking straight down. You get a perspective and you get depth. I mean, look at that. Does that look like a natural formation? It may have been initially, but it looks like it's been cut into. I mean, some of these shapes are just too good. Look at this. It's like huge door shapes and entrance shapes all in a row, all joined up together. And some of them look like they've collapsed. Some of them are filled in. Um, there's all sorts here. But that one there with the mound on it is really weird. And there's that main one that I showed just there. So let me know what you think. Nice to be back. Good to be back on YouTube. This is the longest break I've ever had actually since I started my channel. Basically, over the years, I've been getting more and more ill every year, and for some reason, must be old age. And but I always carry on working when I'm ill. This time, I thought I'd have a proper break and try and actually get properly better before I start work again, because basically, I haven't had a proper holiday in probably about 10 years. So, this is what happens if you overwork yourself. You can actually make yourself more ill, and your body doesn't recover because you're too tired. And some of this stuff is very tiring to do. I still download the images every day. I still process the images every day, make Gigapans and everything like that. Check out my Gigapan page. There's loads of new ones here which I haven't shown. A lot of them don't have anything in them, as in many anomalies, but you may find stuff in some of these that I haven't found. Some of these here. So follow the main links in the description below. Check this out. Check this new one out here. This will be at the top, and the main link for this page will be just below that. There's some nice ones here from the Curiosity rover, but mainly the Perseverance rover. They look nice, but I can't see anything in here that's that unusual. But a lot of these may be ruined structures. This is a fairly typical one. I mean, some of this stuff looks like a ruin, a buried ruin, but it's inconclusive, a lot of it. And there haven't been many finds recently from either me or any other Mars researchers on the ground, because the rovers are between destinations. And I'll go into more about that in my next video, and I'll be showing you where the Perseverance is going. And things are going to get interesting, but it's going to take a while to get there. But on the way, I'm hoping we see some ruins and maybe some exposed burials and maybe some skulls and fossils and sort of stuff in the sand as well. In between destinations, all you're really going to see are the odd skull or animal bones, perhaps, where they just died randomly in between. But what we really want are actual structures and perhaps exposed burials and that kind of thing, like I've shown before, which you tend to get near these kind of mounds and stuff like that. But there haven't been any recently because we're in between. Okay? So thanks for watching, everybody. Good to be back. Hope you're all okay. I'm feeling a lot better. Not quite 100% yet, but I'm nearly there. I'll be back to my normal kind of 1 or 2 videos a week from now on, hopefully. And I'll see you in my next video. So take care all, and I'll see you soon.